My brother Tom, 40 male, and his wife, Jill, 33 female, have lived overseas for several years, and I don't see them that often. Their marriage has been rocky at times, and so has my relationship with my brother due to mental health issues on all our parts. Last fall, Jill came to my country to visit a friend, and we met up for dinner. We had a long, deep talk and bonded over our shared relationship with Tom and learned a lot about each other. At the end, I told her it was the first time I saw her as a sister and not just my brother's wife, as we have never really interacted alone before. Good vibes all around, all good there, or so I thought. Jill and I emailed back and forth a bit in the aftermath. Her emails got gradually longer and more expressive, and I didn't always respond as I was dealing with some emotional challenges and didn't have the bandwidth. But she told me I didn't have to respond. She just liked communicating with me. I was grateful to have this window into my brother's life because I wanted to be close to him. She confided their relationship was not sexual and more about mutual caretaking. Now, fine, whatever works. I just tried to meet her messages with kindness and validation, and I know she appreciated it. Most of the time, I just skimped them and didn't respond. Some of them got very deep into her emotional history, and it was a lot, but I figured this was how Jill relates, and I didn't want to discourage her. She is autistic, and she told me she loved me and cared about me, which I thought was sweet. Well, I should have been paying closer attention because she came back to my country and we set up a visit. She mentioned she would be in the area, and I told her to come for a few days and I would take her hiking. Again, I thought it would be deepening my sibling-like relationship with her and that it would help me get closer to Tom. You can see where this is going. She told me two things. Number one, I had a history of flirting and projecting sexual energy onto her. This may be true. It's a pattern I have with women that I'm working on fixing. But it was not something I did consciously, nor would act on with her. I was mortified and apologized profusely and said it would never happen again. She said she didn't mind because, number two, she was completely heads over heel in love with me. Desperately, fully, totally, F. She said Tom knew, and they both wanted me and her to be happy together because they weren't really romantically connected anymore. She said it started when we had that night out last fall. I didn't think I have ever been more shocked in my life. You could have knocked me out with a feather. On our night out in the fall, I was very careful to be respectful of boundaries, and I thought we had a beautiful sibling energy between us. If there was sexual vibe, I certainly wouldn't feel it at the time, but apparently she was. I told her that I was flattered, but I wasn't interested as I was trying to get back with my ex and committing to her. I saw Jill as a sister, and I wouldn't want to be involved with my brother's wife, and any attraction or sexual energy between us was not intentional, and I didn't want to act on it, and I wasn't comfortable with her staying with me anymore, so I was going to take her to a hotel. In fact, I had already booked a room for her on my phone when we took a break in the convo. She told me that it was my fault, that she loved me because she was just responding to my advances and mirroring my energy. When I asked what advances, she didn't have any specific example. She tried to persuade me that she knew what I needed and that she could heal my trauma and fix my mental health patterns, as opposed to my ex, whom I loved dearly and will marry if things work out. This really triggered me as I felt she was not listening to me and trying to manipulate me. I told her thanks, but no thanks, and we needed to go to the hotel now. On the way there, she had a complete emotional breakdown in my car and was crying hysterically and threatened self-harm. So I decided to bring her back to my place and watch over her. I cooked us dinner and playing soft music and put her to bed in the guest room. There wasn't any conversation. She was kind of shell-shocked, and so was I. I just thought it would be good for both of us to have some calming energy and some food in our system. Maybe I effed up here, but I thought it would avert further meltdowns. Just to be clear, the soft music was not romantic. It was like a spa music to calm down our nervous system. I hardly spoke to her all once we got back. I was simply trying to create a calm environment so she would relax. Maybe I should have persisted in the hotel, but I was afraid she would harm herself there, and my brother would blame me for it. The next morning, I drove her to the train station, ending her trip a day early. Her last words to me were, my offer still stands. Now, my brother Tom is telling me I created this whole situation as a way to get back at my mother for the emotional wound from childhood, that I baited Jill into an affair just so I could play power games, deliberately ignoring her emails to destabilize her and somehow lure her into a trap, and coerced her into confessing her love for me so I could reject her and throw her away, and that all Jill's actions were a natural result of my energetic behavior. I am willing to examine myself for hidden behaviors, but this feels like a major stretch to me. Jill is attractive, but I do not want to be with her, and I was just excited to have a sister. I think maybe Jill was just not used to someone being so nice to her, and conflicted that with the feeling of love and ran with it. And I told my brother I can't be held responsible for her words and actions. Besides, she told me she was happy and felt lighter and relieved to have expressed it. The way I see it, regardless of any feelings or energies between us, and it seemed we have a very different experience of those, I kept things above board with my words and actions. She was the one who chose to make an overt move on me, which would have broken up my relationship, and persisted and argued with me when I turned her down. As far as I'm concerned, I am done with her and probably Tom too. But it makes me sad because I was looking forward to being close to both of them. Maybe I should have nipped this in the bud when her emails gradually got more intimate. But honestly, I never thought this was harboring romantic feelings. Am I losing my effing mind? Please, set me straight if it feels like I'm missing something from this situation. What, if anything, can be done to repair this? I tried talking to my brother, but we went in circles for 2 hours. He's convinced that I created this situation and that I'm responsible for his wife's action, and there doesn't seem to be any change in his mind. A reader asked, does she expect to leave your brother for you? What is she assuming the family would do in that case? The original poster responded, that's one of the most baffling parts of this. Like, what planet are you living on if you think I'm just going to nonchalantly steal my brother's wife and try to explain it to people? Now here's my reaction. She sounds very emotionally manipulative and a fantasist. Why the mess isn't exactly your fault. You kind of did lead her on. You admitted to being flirty with her to start, which is wildly inappropriate. You should have nipped all that inappropriate emotional stuff about her marriage in the bud. That's a one-way ticket to at least an emotional affair. It's very weird that your brother encouraged this, and I will find that wildly uncomfortable. She sounds very emotionally vulnerable, and your flirting may have encouraged her to create this whole relationship in her mind. Because of her state of mind, she misinterpreted any shred of attention from you as a sign that you feel the same way. From now on, do not spend time with her alone. She could easily fabricate an accusation against you. Keep a record of all her attempts to contact you, and do not engage with her anymore. Do not let her or your brother blame you. It's easier for your brother to blame you than to accept that his wife has gone off the deep end, or that there is something wrong with his marriage. Thank you for watching to the end of this video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Please hit the thumbs up for YouTube to recommend my video. Thank you very much and have a wonderful rest of the day.